Welcome to our global tour of caution. Today, we're diving into the top 10 countries with the highest crime rates in 2024 and why these destinations might just be too hot to handle for travelers. From the bustling streets of Venezuela, where a staggering crime index of 82.1 reflects deep-seated issues like corruption and a flawed judiciary system, to Haiti to round up our list, each with their own tales of turmoil and danger. So buckle up, stay vigilant, and let's uncover why these countries are marked with a red flag on some travelers' maps. Remember, knowledge is power, and power is safety. Let's get started. Number 1. Venezuela. Venezuela has one of the highest crime rates in the world. Venezuela's crisis is marked by political instability, economic meltdown, and soaring crime rates. The political scene is deeply fractured, with President Nicolás Maduro's government facing opposition from within and outside the country, including challenges to his legitimacy. Economically, Venezuela has suffered from hyperinflation, severe shortages of essentials, and a dramatic GDP contraction, largely due to plummeting oil revenues, mismanagement, and international sanctions. This economic despair has exacerbated social inequalities and fueled a surge in crime. The underfunded and understaffed police force struggles to combat widespread offenses ranging from petty theft to organized drug trafficking and kidnapping. These issues are symptomatic of the broader collapse, reflecting the dire need for comprehensive reform and stabilization efforts. Number 2. Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, a nation of immense cultural diversity and abundant natural resources, grapples with pervasive crime. The root causes are multifaceted. Entrenched tribal conflicts, often over land or resources, disrupt the social fabric. Corruption erodes governance and hampers development, leaving many without access to services or economic opportunities. This lack of development feeds into a cycle of poverty and disenfranchisement, creating fertile ground for crime. Violent crimes such as assault and robbery are widespread, with the prevalence of firearms amplifying the danger. These issues are symptomatic of deeper societal and structural problems that require comprehensive and sustained interventions to promote development, strengthen institutions, and foster social cohesion. Number 3. South Africa. South Africa's high crime rate is a multifaceted issue deeply rooted in the nation's history and socio-economic conditions. The legacy of apartheid has left enduring racial inequalities, with significant wealth disparity and unemployment exacerbating the situation. The top 10% of wealth holders own more than 85% of household wealth, highlighting the extreme concentration of resources. This inequality is a contributing factor to the high rates of violent crimes, such as murder and rape, especially in urban centers like Pretoria, Durban, and Johannesburg, which rank among the most dangerous cities in Africa. The economic impact of crime is substantial, costing the economy at least 10% of GDP annually. Moreover, historical racial segregation has fostered environments where violence and crime are seen as normalized responses to disputes and injustices. The prevalence of firearms further intensifies the danger, making violent crimes more deadly and frequent. Addressing these issues requires a holistic approach that tackles deep-seated economic disparities, promotes social cohesion, and effectively combats the normalization of violence within society. Number 4. Honduras. Honduras grapples with rampant crime, largely fueled by gang violence, the narcotics trade, and shaky political conditions. Gangs, notably MS-13 and Barrio 18, exert control over cities, contributing to one of the world's highest murder rates. The nation's homicide peak in 2012 saw an average of 20 deaths daily, with young men aged 15 to 34 frequently implicated. Despite a homicide rate drop to 36 per 100,000 in 2022, impunity remains high, with a mere 4% of murders leading to convictions. Factors like corruption and extortion hinder law enforcement effectiveness, with over 200,000 households facing extortion in 2022 alone. Efforts to combat this include the Mano Dura laws and a 2022 state of emergency, which saw a police crackdown on gangs, mirroring strategies in neighboring El Salvador. However, systemic issues persist, with 99% of crimes unreported, and the public's trust in authorities remains low. The U.S. has provided economic aid to support crime prevention programs, yet the challenge of establishing a stable and secure environment in Honduras continues. Number 5. Trinidad and Tobago. The Caribbean, despite its natural wealth from oil and gas reserves, is plagued by high crime rates. These are primarily attributed to the lucrative drug trade routes passing through the region, which fuel gang violence and related criminal activities. Economic difficulties, including high unemployment rates and a lack of development, exacerbate these issues, creating a fertile ground for crime and violence. The region's attractiveness as a tax haven further complicates matters by reducing available public funds that could otherwise improve social conditions and strengthen law enforcement. Consequently, the disparity between the region's natural wealth and its social challenges contributes to the persistence of crime, with violence being particularly concentrated in specific neighborhoods and demographic groups, often removed from tourist areas. This complex web of factors underscores the need for evidence-based policy approaches and targeted interventions to address the high-risk individuals and areas most affected by crime. Number 6. Syria. The Syrian civil war, raging since 2011, has precipitated a severe collapse of law and order, manifesting in soaring crime rates. The chaos of war has emboldened criminal activities such as kidnappings for ransom, widespread theft, and a booming black market, all of which are often directly tied to the conflict's economic devastation. The breakdown of societal norms and the desperation wrought by the war have blurred the lines between survival tactics and criminality. With over 500,000 people killed and many more displaced, the war has not only shattered lives but also the rule of law, leaving a vacuum where crime thrives. The international community's failure to effectively intervene has further exacerbated the situation, allowing for crimes, including enforced disappearances and arbitrary detentions, to become rampant with little to no recourse for victims. The war's impact extends beyond immediate violence as the enduring conflict continues to erode the fabric of Syrian society, making the restoration of peace and order a daunting task for the future. Number 7. Guyana. Guyana's crime landscape is marred by economic strife, political flux, and stark social disparities. These factors collectively fuel a surge in violent offenses, notably homicides and armed robberies. The nation's economic woes, marked by unemployment and poverty, often drive individuals towards crime as a means of survival. Political instability further undermines the rule of law, creating gaps in governance that criminals exploit. Social inequality exacerbates these issues, with marginalized communities being both the primary victims and perpetrators of crime. Gangs, thriving in these conditions, engage in turf wars and illicit activities, intensifying the violence. Domestic disputes, too, frequently escalate to criminal acts, reflecting broader societal tensions. With the homicide rate peaking at 28 per 100,000 in 2003 and domestic violence laws weakly enforced, particularly in interior regions, Guyana's struggle against crime is a complex battle against entrenched economic and social crisis. Number 8. Peru. Peru's crime rate is intricately linked to urban poverty and inequality, alongside the presence of organized crime syndicates deeply involved in drug production and trafficking. Despite notable economic advancements, these issues cast a long shadow over the nation's progress. Urban areas, grappling with poverty, often become hotbeds for criminal activities as individuals turn to illicit means in the face of limited opportunities. Inequality further fuels discontent and social division, which organized crime groups exploit to expand their influence, particularly in the drug trade, a lucrative industry given Peru's role as a major cocaine producer. This complex socio-economic landscape creates a persistent challenge for law enforcement and governance as efforts to curb crime confront deeply entrenched issues that require comprehensive social and economic reforms. Number 9. Afghanistan. Afghanistan's elevated crime rate is deeply rooted in its prolonged history of conflict and political turmoil, compounded by persistent economic hardships. The incessant strife has eroded governmental structures and law enforcement capabilities, creating a vacuum often filled by criminal elements. This instability has fostered an environment where illicit activities, including kidnapping for ransom, theft, and acts of terrorism, thrive. These crimes are frequently intertwined with the broader security challenges facing the nation as various factions vie for control and resources. The populace, caught in the crossfire, faces the repercussions of these criminal acts, which are symptomatic of the larger issues of governance and societal stability. Thus, Afghanistan's crime scenario is not just a law and order problem, but a reflection of deeper, systemic challenges that need addressing to ensure a secure and prosperous future for its citizens. Number 10. Haiti. Haiti's high crime rate is a multifaceted issue, deeply intertwined with the nation's severe poverty, political upheaval, and the devastating effects of natural disasters. These factors have collectively undermined the rule of law and public institutions, leading to a surge in gang-related violence and kidnappings. The absence of adequate economic opportunities and social services further fuels criminal activities, as many individuals resort to illicit means to survive. Gangs capitalize on these vulnerabilities, exerting control through fear and violence, which perpetuates a cycle of crime and instability. The situation is compounded by the state's limited capacity to respond effectively, leaving communities to grapple with the consequences. Addressing these systemic issues is crucial for breaking the cycle of violence and fostering a safer, more stable environment for Haiti's population. Here you have it. These countries face complex challenges that contribute to their high crime rates, often requiring multifaceted solutions to address the underlying causes effectively. It's important to approach these issues with sensitivity and an understanding of the local context. Subscribe for more.